Well, the beautiful shutdown continues. Hello, fellow Texans. It's the James Show, News Talk 820 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Now, I am enjoying the shutdown. As a limited government guy, a guy who thinks government needs to shrink by about 90% at the federal level, I'll take any victory I can get. Anyone gets sent home in D.C. and we don't have to pay their salary for 5 seconds, I'll take that small little victory. But it's going to be an absolutely Pyrrhic victory at the other end of this, because we're learning some really ugly lessons here. The thing I'm concerned about is this demonizing rhetoric about the shutdown and providing health care and killing kids. This is proving that these people haven't learned their lesson about, demonizing rhetoric. After the Trump assassination attempts, after the ICE shootings, after the church shootings, after the Charlie Kirk assassination, they're still throwing out completely reckless hyperbole. It's all but guaranteed to incite more violence against Team Red. They're not backing off. They're mashing the gas. That's what you should be concerned about here. Not that we're having a government shutdown, or not that, we might lose health care for illegals or whatever the heck. I mean, we'll get into that, and that's worth talking about, no doubt. However, if you just kind of zoom out and look, these people are continuing with the rhetoric. And I don't blame AOC for this. I don't blame Hakeem Jeffries or Nancy Pelosi or any of the other politicians whose job it is to scare people into voting against their political opponents. Notice I say they're not scaring people into voting for them. Most Democrat voters I know are voting against Republicans. But in this situation here, it's the media that's supposed to hold them to account. Maybe academics, maybe other pundits out there, maybe people on social media, maybe your neighbor who's on Twitter. But when they can go out here and say, Republicans are killing children, and the media person on the other side of the interview doesn't go, stop it. Say, can we just tap the brakes on all that? No one's trying to kill children. I mean, unless you're like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, the average American person is not some psychopathic serial killer. Perhaps maybe they just want a smaller government. But when you do this incredibly dishonest thing where you intentionally mislead people out there into confusing healthcare coverage with healthcare treatment, then you can go out there and you can say statements that I guess can kind of sound true. They're definitely not true. And people are believing the lie. And so it's driving them into a spiral of hatred. And so these people that they've already been told their entire lives, they believe that you are a racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, Nazi, literally Hitler, fascist. It just feeds into that, there's a confirmation bias there. And this is proving it so hard. AOC yesterday talking about how this shutdown is going to kill kids. Kill kids. Now, if this were true, then a rational person would say, well, it's time to go get a gun and take these guys out. It's better that, I assassinate some actual fascist Hitler-type people than let thousands, millions of kids die. Heck, I'll even go to prison for it, or I'll off myself when the cops show up, like the ICE coward did. Here she is yesterday.
And I saw some Republican members of Congress saying, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly. Because what I'm not going to do is tolerate 4 million uninsured Americans because Donald Trump decided one day that he wants to just make sure that kids are dying because they don't have access to insurance. That's what's not going to happen. And so if those senators think that we're having a shutdown because of me, they're free to enter my office and negotiate, because what we're not going to do is allow all of millions of people in this country to not be able to afford their insulin and their chemotherapy. So come strike a deal with me if that's what they really think is going on.
You're killing kids. You're killing kids. That is so irresponsible. That should not be allowed. And I'm not saying she should be thrown in jail. I'm saying everyone in the media should be calling her out. Stop it, because people believe her. I know you don't believe her. You don't fall for this. You know she's just saying whatever she can get away with in order to get ahead politically, in order to scare the crap out of people into supporting her side of the argument. But remember, I was showing you this yesterday. Well, let's go review how it started out with illegals can't get comprehensive Medicaid coverage illegals can't get Medicaid coverage. And so it sounds like illegals can't get health care, which if you just chop it off right there and you don't add insurance or subsidies or programs or whatever, some people out there are slow. It paints a picture in their head that you and I want a world where illegals go to the emergency room. They're having a heart attack. They broke their leg. They were in a car wreck. They got, I don't know, I had too much Tylenol. And we just want to turn them away and just let them die in the gutter. That's not what I want. That's not what you want. In fact, I don't know that that's anybody's plan out there. All I'm asking is to give them their own bill, to get treated just like I would or you would if we went to the hospital. If I go to the hospital, I get the bill. You know how I know? My kid went to the hospital a couple years ago. He had something wrong with his kidneys. We're going to be paying that off for 15 years. Hey, by the way, you want to know how much a helicopter ride from Bug Tussle to Children's Health cost? Children's Hospital, just 4 exits up from where I'm at right now. $42,000. Yeah, me and Miss Parker got some bills. Me and Miss Parker are drowning in bills. You don't know. I work 2 jobs, really 3. This isn't my only job. Miss Parker has a day job, and she does extra work on the side as well. We both put in about 60 hours a week. We have 4 children. We are drowning in debt. I am behind every single month, and I just eat it. And after we paid about $40,000 in taxes last year, AOC's is going to take some of my money and give it to these other people who shouldn't even be here. I'm not asking that you don't treat them. I'm not asking that you kill kids. I'm just asking, stop giving me the bill, please. Stop giving you the bill. What the hell did we do to deserve this? We're not breaking any laws. Go out. They're not fighting for you. And coming up in the next break, you're gonna hear the next little lie here. Like, oh, nobody wants to give health care for illegals. Who would even think something like that? And I have the Audiotron 3000. We're gonna go through audio archive history and just blow that out of the water. Oh, it's gonna be a good show. Stick around. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. So who gets the blame in a shutdown? You know, I hate the way this is even worded because from my point of view, as a guy who wants less government, I would say, who gets the credit in a shutdown? People are trying to, oh, this is a Democrat shutdown. No, this is the Republican shutdown. What are y'all talking about? Well, shouldn't you be out there like, hell yeah, shut down the government? People have been asking for government cuts. That's the whole thing I campaigned on. People were beating down the door to try and at least curtail this by a little bit. So, yeah, uh, why isn't anyone taking credit? I don't know. Let's ask an expert in political science from Tarleton State University. Dr. Bo Kabbalah is on the James Show. Welcome, Dr. Bo. Let's talk about that. Why is it considered why is it considered blame for a shutdown? Why is one side always trying to blame the other one for a shutdown? I figured that'd be a bragging right. Well, Dr. Bo, we have this bill that to me looks like it's just a continuation of the last Biden budget with a couple of kind of scalpel cuts from the one big, beautiful bill. Is that the only change? Because that's the only one I see. All right, we're talking with Dr. Bo Kabbalah from Poli Sci at Tarleton State University. What do the polls say? You know, I just assume when politicians do something that seems irrational to me, that it's something that plays well in the polls. How long do you think it's going to last? Dr. Bo, how do we actually stop the growth of government? Because in my observation, if both parties are just continuing, the baseline budgeting where there's incremental increases every year, no matter what, what, how do we do that? It feels like we don't even have the choice to vote for that. Well, when we have an air quote government shutdown, it seems like there's still a whole lot of government working right now at the federal level. What is it, like 80% still open? Yeah, I absolutely celebrate it. All right, Dr. Bokawala, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time on the James Show. All right, good stuff. See, professors don't get as worked up as I do about this. They're a lot more credible. I get so mad, man, because the thing that's ticking me off is the sticking point is illegals getting more of your tax dollars. And, it's super frustrating because they shouldn't be here in the first place. And I'm not saying they should die. I'm not saying they shouldn't get medical care. I'm just saying they should get the bill. And then you have to turn on the TV and have these people tell you to your face that's not what this is about. So let me start with the rundown here. And this will go for a couple of segments because I went through the Audiotron 3000 and there's just all kinds of damning audio clips. First, let's see how we got here. How are American people out there conflating the idea that cutting someone off of Medicaid makes them die? I can walk you through that. Hakeem Jeffries, the guy who's in charge for the Democrats in the House of Representatives, was saying earlier this year that illegals can't get comprehensive coverage for Medicaid. Now, they can still get their emergency bills paid from Medicaid or other bills paid, just not comprehensive.
And under current law, undocumented immigrants are already ineligible for Medicaid, the ACA exchanges, and for SNAP benefits. Not a single undocumented immigrant in this country gets a dime in federal taxpayer dollars for any part of comprehensive Medicaid coverage.
Okay,
Not one.
So he called it comprehensive Medicaid coverage. If you take the word comprehensive out of it, that's not a true statement anymore. Yes, illegals absolutely are getting tax dollars toward their Medicaid coverage. It's not the comprehensive part of Medicaid. And so then they switched out the word Medicaid for health care. And then if you take out health care coverage and just say health care, now you are telling people, and people are hearing it, that Republicans want illegals to not get health care. And if you think I'm making that up, here's her name's Dr. Annie Andrews. She's running against Lindsey Graham for his seat in, what was that, South Carolina? Here she is, just going off on something that's completely not true, scaring the crap out of people. And I think she knows this is a lie.
This thing that JD Vance said today, I can't stop thinking about. Take a listen.
In the emergency room waiting is an illegal alien, very often a person who can't even speak English. Why do those people get health care benefits at hospitals paid for by American citizens?
So, JD, I have some news for you. Physicians, me and all my physician colleagues all across this country, we're not like you. We chose a profession where we wake up every day to help people. We're not self-serving. Nothing you can say or do is ever going to stop one of my physician colleagues from providing care to a sick or injured person who shows up at the doorstep.
All right, stop it. You'll hear the rest of this after the break. But look, there she is. No one is saying don't give them health care. They're just saying don't make the taxpayers pay for it. That's all. And if you don't get that, then you're not qualified to run for Senate or even be a doctor, Annie. But be careful, because when we come back from the break, I'll play you the rest of this clip. You might wreck your car. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey, football fans. It's finally here again. Thursday's back. We got a Thursday night game. And look, Prize Picks is the app that even if your team's not doing that great, it's still more fun to watch if you're playing Prize Picks along with it. Because when the Cowboys tied last week, I won. So they changed it actually from last year. Prize Picks is the only app that now offers stacks. And what that means is you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. So you could have Dak Prescott for passing yards. You could have him for passing touchdowns. You could have him for, I don't know, what's another one? Rushing yards. So you can have up to 3 times same player in your lineup. Prize Picks is the only app that does that, which means if you know a guy's about to go off and have a good game, like a running back playing against the Cowboys, then you could say, look, I'm just going to stack this guy up. And if he has a really good game, that's all you need to come away with up to 2,000 times your money. You get that? Your winnings 2,000 times your money. So download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code WBAP. You get $50 in lineups with your first $5 lineup. Download Prize Picks. Use promo code WBAP for $50 in lineups with your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Dan Bongino. Yeah, I was going to do it anyway, Garrett. You don't have to remind me. Welcome back to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. I try not to be emotional, but I sometimes I just can't help it here, especially when we're talking about this healthcare stuff, when we're talking about a shutdown, when we're talking about $37 trillion in debt, and y'all just want to stack another $2 trillion on it. Both parties are cool with $2 trillion deficits. That ticks me off. It should tick you off too. Look, if you had saved $100,000 in your IRA or 401k up to year 2020, that only buys $75,000 worth in 2025 right now. You have been robbed of 25% of all of your retirement savings. You're cool with that? You've been given a 25% pay cut. You didn't do anything wrong. You okay with that? Both parties are screwing you so hard. Democrats are only trying to screw you a little bit harder. Just a little bit harder. They can't even cut out your taxpayer dollars going to medical care for illegal immigrants, people who shouldn't be here anyway. Criminals. Their very presence in this country is breaking the law, and they should be rewarded for it with your tax dollars. Do you really know how much you pay in taxes? Do you really know? Because some people say, well, yeah, I'm in like the 20% tax bracket. Or some people are like, well, I got some deductions. I'm in the 12% tax bracket. Dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. Even if you do just have it down to the 20% tax bracket, which isn't that much. That's for like a household of 100-something thousand. So if you and your spouse works and y'all are taking the standard deduction, there's a pretty good chance you're in that 20% bracket. But on top of that, you have to pay 13% in Social Security taxes. You have to pay another, 2-3% in this Medicare, Medicaid. So we're already up to 35%. And then out of your mortgage that clocks every month, a few hundred of that has to go to your state and local property taxes. So now you're up to what? 40% of your income? And when you pull in the sales tax, the gas tax, all the little chintzy taxes on your utility bills, on your phone bill, you're getting gouged for about 40% of your income because of all of these stupid programs. And the culprit on all of these is socialism. They're all social programs that are strangling us to death. Whether it's free health care, Medicare, Medicaid, all the stuff for illegals, CHIP, children's health care. You have unemployment insurance, which is just flat out socialism. You have socialized schools, public schools. If we got rid of the socialism here, not only would we balance the budget, you would get a 40% raise. You understand that? And neither party's fighting for that for you. And one party's just lying to your face. Lying to your face. You're going to kill kids. Republicans don't want illegal immigrants to get health care. I'm going to continue with this clip from Dr. Annie Andrews, who's not just a doctor. She's also running to get Lindsey Graham's seat in the next electoral cycle. But before we get back to that, let's just go back a few years to the Democrat primary debate in 2020. And you have about 12 candidates on the stage. I don't even remember all these people, but Pete Buttigieg is in there. Joe Biden is in there. I believe Kamala Harris was in there. They're asked, do you support health care for illegals? Raise your hand. Every single person on the stage raised their hand. And the people in the audience clapped.
A lot of you have been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you've proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Is there any more solid case that these people are okay with the idea? They support the idea. They advocate for the idea of taking money from you and giving it to an illegal so they don't get their own medical bills. Now let's go back to Dr. Annie Andrews, because this went viral. I can't believe millions of people have seen this like it's actually a legit statement, because it's all lies.
This thing that J.D. Vance said today, I can't stop thinking about. Take a listen.
In the emergency room waiting is an illegal alien, very often a person who can't even speak English. Why do those people get health care benefits at hospitals paid for by American citizens?
See, notice he said health care benefits paid for by American citizens. He doesn't say, why do they get health care treatment and then cut it off there? He's not even advocating that they don't get treatment. He's just saying, why do we have to pay for their treatment? Anyway, and then she continues with this just total straw man lie.
So, JD, I have some news for you. Physicians, me and all my physician colleagues all across this country, we're not like you. We chose a profession where we wake up every day to help people. We're not self-serving. Nothing you can say or do is ever going to stop one of my physician colleagues from providing care to a sick or injured person who shows up at the doorsteps of an emergency department. Also, side note, emergency departments are legally required to provide emergency care to anyone who shows up at their doors because of a law called EMTALA, which was signed into law under Ronald Reagan's presidency. Ronald Reagan signed this compassionate bill, which legally requires emergency departments to provide emergency care to anyone, regardless of their insurance status, regardless of their immigration status. And I dare you to try to stand in the way of an emergency medicine physician and a sick or injured patient.
No one's trying to do that. You understand that? No one is trying to do that. Now you're thinking, who could believe this? It's quite obvious. She just built a straw man and tore it up. No one's advocating for that. But here it is. Here's another viral video of someone who believes people like Annie Andrews, believes AOC, believes Hakeem Jeffries, believes what the MSNBC people say.
When Republicans tell their MAGA voters that Democrats are fighting for health care for illegal immigrants, I mean, does that make sense to them? What would be the upside?
You tell me.
I'm one of the people the Democrats are fighting for their health care because I'm on the Affordable Care Act, because I own a small business and I have for 15 years. I'm actually working right now in my garage, packaging things up. It's not a glamorous job. And I get my health care that I can afford for my family off the Affordable Care Act. And the premium is about to go up 85%. Why would Democrats be fighting for healthcare for illegal immigrants, people who are here undocumented? Those people are afraid to go to work right now. They're not going to hospitals and doctors' offices, and it's already illegal for them to get healthcare through Medicaid. That's not something that exists. And they're rounding these people up and sending them out of the country. What would be the upside for Democrats to fight for that? I mean, I just want to know, how does that make sense to them? How do they just hear that and believe it? Democrats are fighting for health care for U.S. citizens like myself. And
they don't live in the same world you live in. They have a different set of truths. They have this fantasy land. How could anyone believe Democrats would support health care for illegals? I don't know. Maybe because I saw the Democrat debate in 2020 where they all raised their hands when they were asked about it. No wonder they keep shooting at us. No wonder Charlie Kirk got murdered. No wonder why they're shooting at ICE facilities. They're lying about us. The hyperbolic rhetoric continues. We're being painted as soulless, dehumanized Nazis, and it's not stopping, even after all the violence you've been seeing. And it's even worse with this shutdown rhetoric. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. And another ridiculous viral video sob story that just shows the fantasy land that some people are living in. Coming up next on The James Show. And this is important because until we break this worldview, until we can pierce that veil of lies, they're never going to stop voting for Democrats, and they're never going to stop shooting at us. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. They're trying to spend more of your money. They're indifferent to whether or not their hyperbolic rhetoric is inciting violence against you. And it's continuing. I'm James Parker on The James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. We were just regaling over one of the things that this shutdown is exposing is, number one, neither party cares about balancing the budget. So just expect inflation to continue and the debt's going to keep going up. Deficit's going to keep going up. Neither party's serious about it. That just disgusts me to no end. But the more important lesson on that is that the hyperbolic rhetoric isn't stopping. They're hitting the gas. And it's very dehumanizing. And all the violence you've seen, it's going to continue. There's going to be more Charlie Kirks. Heck, I might just start walking around in bubble wrap myself. And did you catch the very beginning of her little retort? If you're just joining us, I was playing this lady, Dr. Annie Andrews. She went viral this week talking about how J.D. Vance wants illegals to die. And doctors are better than that. We're not like you. It's very dehumanizing. And when we talk about inciting violence, this is the kind of rhetoric I'm talking about. Just the first 15 seconds of this.
This thing that JD Vance said today, I can't stop thinking about. Take a listen.
In the emergency room waiting is an illegal alien, very often a person who can't even speak English. Why do those people get health care benefits at hospitals paid for by American citizens?
So, JD, I have some news for you. Physicians, me and all my physician colleagues all across this country, we're not like you. We chose a profession where we wake up every day to help people.
Yeah, we're not like you. We're good people. You're a bad person. Dude, why don't you just find the nearest crazy person and hand him a 30-06? Are you going to engrave the bullets for him too? Damn. Hey, this is Donna in Dallas. Hey, Donna, you're on WBAP.
Oh, hey. What I wanted to tell you, well, every time I call you, I'm always saying, oh, my God, everything comes up. I'm listening to that idiot, excuse me, and I'm kind of shocked that she actually went online and aired that information. But I think that you're right, that people like that are inciting violence, and you might need to wrap yourself. That might be a great idea for everybody. I'm kind of terrified myself.
Well,
anyway,
at this point,
what she said was nuts. What she said was absolutely. And the thing that got me more was like, how can they say that when it's not true?
Oh yeah, the other lady, right?
Hello, yeah, hello, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that they have done that before.
Yeah,
and still are doing it. Yeah.
I love the fake shock there. Like, how can they say it if it isn't true? It's like, are you kidding? That's their bread and butter. They told you the stock market was crashing 4 months ago. 6 months ago, they told you we were in a recession. We're not. A year ago, they told you Biden was sharp as a tack. The year before that, they told you vaccines work. The year before that, they told you Jussie Smollett got mugged. I mean, it's all. Before that, I mean, when I was born, they were telling you, hey, let's build trains and have a public bus system. It'll improve traffic in Dallas. This is John and Kemp. You're on WBAP.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call, James. I just wanted to tell you, thank you for explaining it to me. A simpleton like me, I didn't realize that they had changed just a few words to camouflage it, however you want to put it, so that people can't understand that it is actually paying for illegal immigrants. You know, I wish J.D. Vance, when he came out, and I love that guy, and I hope he runs for president in 28 because I will vote for him. He normally puts out everything very clear. I wish he would have just said, hey, they changed these words. He kind of did, but he didn't go all the way into it to explain it to the American public that, hey, they really are lying about this. This is how they were going to change it. Anyway, that's all I've got to say.
Well, thank you. I take that as a huge compliment, John, because that's really what I try to do here is like, can I take these complex ideas and distill them down? And I've got about 6 minutes to do it before you get to where you're going or there's the next commercial break. And I really wish everyone could just hear that rundown of how they have used the rhetoric to intentionally mislead people to make half the country thinks that you, because you support Team Red policies, want illegals to die. They think you're that heartless. They think you're just a cold-blooded sociopath. They think you're literally a fascist or an idiot that's duped by these people. All right, coming up next on The James Show, we have a special guest In fact, someone had just put a message up on the Facebook a second ago. Yeah, Ellen said, hey, here's something you may want to talk about. TCU canceled a Turning Point USA speaker because she's a detransitioner. Yeah, she's going to be on the show next, on the James Show. Seriously, Chloe Cole. If you haven't heard this story, it's going to break your heart. You'll meet Chloe Cole, and now the battle for TCU. Is it still a Christian university? That's next on the James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
It's absolutely silly we didn't do it always.
Right?
Of course, we've only had one other person in here, but
Tim Young. There he is. Hello. Hi, y'all.
I'm floored at how ill-equipped we are to have guests.
Hey, share. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Mitchell. Hey. How's it going? Hi. Garrett. Does she have headphones? She has. Do you have headphones? Headphones?
I don't. Do I need it?
Yeah. To be able to hear him. I'll go get you my adapter.
Okay.
Hey, Chloe. Yes. So you're gonna be here.
Okay.
I'm gonna get her an adapter of mine.
Who what?
An adapter.
Oh, for the headphones?
Yeah.
All right. You'll show up there. This is what will be on the stream. I'll be in that room. You can look at me through the TV or the glass. It's all the same.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Man, I got a bunch of TCU guys that are pissed about this. Pissed about this. Now, you're not local. You're not from here, are you?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm an American more than I am a Californian, though. I just travel all over.
Right on. Are you Mitchell?
Yes.
James.
Nice to meet you.
Man, thanks for coming on such short notice.
Of course.
How long y'all in town?
Tomorrow.
At least a week.
Tomorrow.
Well, then you have to come back on Tuesday.
I come back.
So we're going to Michigan just for 2 nights. We'll be back on the 6th. We'll be back on the 5th, actually. Night of the 5th.
Okay.
Yeah. We're
All right.
rocking and rolling.
Let me know if you need anything. Bathroom down the hall, but someone will have to lock you or you get locked out.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Sherry, would you mind helping me tighten the straps on this?
This will allow you to
Just
talk.
about like, maybe about like this much.
This will allow you to talk to James during the breaks, and then all you gotta do is just turn this mic on,
Oh, okay.
and that will allow you to be on over the air.
Cool. Yeah. A little bit more than that, or? I think that's fine. Thank you. Is your phone off? Yeah. Yep, it is. Both of them?
As TCU grad myself, I am pretty appalled by all the stuff that they are doing. That's just not true at all.
Yeah, I know a few alumni from there, and they're not happy about it.
A lot of friends, man. A lot of friends from TCU just like unfriendly because of back when I was very political, and it's just like, you guys just like, they don't, they say they want to be inclusive, but they do stuff like this, and it's like, oh my gosh.
They want to only include the people who are convenient to.
What's your influence?
I don't see any on this side. Oh, sorry. I just assumed those ones are already plugged in over there, and I didn't want to miss anything.
You guys should use my headphones. Do I? You should use my headphones if you want. No, that's all right. You can use yours. We'll get this entangled. Good Lord. You better put it wires.
Keep it out of the shot, huh? The mic.
So you want to talk into the side of that and not straight on. You want to get up real close to like a best friend.
Wait, so do I want to rotate for it or no?
No, come closer.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, oh, that wire is.
Thank you. Yeah. I already said, I figured.
You know what? My team is not very. Is it rare for you guys to have guests? No. Just people like to hijack these. Like somebody has a fetish for Nisha works. Oh, that's for a reason?
Yeah.
Look, Chip Roy, he's in Dallas. Sure.
Your forecast from the WBA.
That's kind of a nice volume. Now, when you go on, you want to hit that button, okay? Because when that button comes on, the mic is hot.
Cool.
Okay, if you forget, they won't be able to hear you.
Okay.
Okay. She's going to turn on her own mic, but it's not going. Okay. You got it. Okay. Thanks all.
Thank you guys for the help.
All right. Enjoy.
When we start?
Oh yeah, Chip Roy's on right now. We're gonna start after as soon as the news starts. You know, because we play James's music radio show, and since he'll introduce himself, and then yeah. It's some cool stuff.
Critics argue Schumer appeared left and is trying to protect himself. Ocasio-Cortez contends she is not highly.
Really cool. That's a cool name.
This is so not about. Cole's actually a pseudonym though. What's that? My last name is actually Brockman. It's kind of boring.
I'm realizing that a lot of people I know that, you know, they have different names for radio. Yeah, I always assume that their names are just, you know, always like that, but then like people myself, it kind of sounds a little odd, but then and I realize, oh, actually that's not actually their name.
Billionaire Elon Musk is reportedly the.
That's what happened, you know, with you. I think when you were next to Steven Crowder, had him on.
What's that?
Well, Steven Crowder did a thing at TCU, the Change My Mind things. And one of the students lost everything on it. He got expelled for, you know, losing to Steven Crowder.
I remember that.
Yeah, I don't get why, you know, they won't let you do it, and it's like, it doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. It would just be so much more convenient for them if they did.
Yeah, I agree. I don't even realize how much, you know, how good it would actually make them look. Because by doing this, this business makes them look terrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
It wouldn't have been a story if they just let her on.
And it's also
It works for us.
30 minutes, breaking news, 24/7. Check back several times a day and keep connected to DFW to News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP, your new home for Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins, weekdays, 11 a.m. till 2. WBAP salutes Kennedale. Thank you, Kennedale, for listening today to News Talk 820 WBAP.
I just got the new iPhone, the orange color. I'm super happy about it. There you go.
Hey there, fellow Texans. Welcome back to The James Show. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Oh, man, stop what you're doing. Start paying attention right now, because this next guest story, it's first going to break your heart, and then it's going to be very inspiring, hopefully somewhere about halfway through the second segment, the way I've got this mapped out. You probably never heard her before, unless you're terminally online like myself. Her name is Chloe Cole, and I'm not going to give you the background on her. I'm going to let her give the background, because she is a public speaker now and does a pretty good job herself. So, Chloe Cole, welcome to The James Show. What brings you to Texas, Chloe?
Thank you for having me here. Yeah, I'm here in Texas primarily for a few university events. I speak a lot on the transgender issue as well as other cultural issues, and my absolute favorite place to do that is on college campuses. So I've spoken I think at Texas State University, at UT of San Antonio, and I was actually supposed to have an event on campus at TCU, but they don't like my message very much, it would seem.
All right. So why would someone listen to you on such a touchy topic as detransitioning?
Because I'm actually somebody who has gone through the process of a gender transition medically, socially, living through that lifestyle in every way, and then coming back out of it after realizing the harm that was done to me. And now I've become a spokesperson for this community of thousands, potentially dozens or hundreds of thousands of people across the world who have personally been harmed by this at very young ages. Now,
All right.
I
This,
was a teenager when they put me through every single one of these treatments. I was
yeah,
very
yeah,
young.
yeah. Let's do the uncomfortable part here. And the reason why I wanted you have you on right now is there's a lot of moms in carpool lines about to pick up their kids. It's 3:06, you know, and so this is who I want to hear this. Moms, dads, you've got to listen up to this. Let's go back and tell your story starting when you're 13.
Yeah, so I was about 11 when I got my first cell phone. And especially the older I got, and as I started like move into puberty, I started to become a lot more of a tomboy. I started to align a lot more with the boys my age, with my male peers, with my brothers, and just I related to them a lot more. And it was something that I actually took a lot of pride in, being a tomboy, because it was something that set me apart. It meant that I was strong. It meant that I was adventurous. But I also had really a lot of normal teenage insecurities, like around, especially around my developing body. And as I started to use social media, I was learning about a group of kids who had very similar struggles to me. But they gave themselves a special label. They called themselves transgender. And through this lifestyle and through this label, they seemed to become so happy and feel like it seemed like they were becoming, they started to have this feeling of becoming more whole. So I started this feeling of questioning eventually became a decision that I made. I decided at age 12 that I was actually a young man, and that was why I was more boyish, and why I didn't feel pretty, and why I didn't feel very feminine. And so I told my mom and dad about these feelings that I had, and that I didn't want to be their daughter anymore, but their son. And they didn't really know exactly how to respond. It was kind of an emotional roller coaster for them, but they wanted to both be cautious of my age and of my maturity, or lack thereof at the time, because they knew I still very much was just their little girl, right? But they also wanted to get to the bottom of where this was coming from exactly. So they had me start seeing a therapist. What they didn't expect, though, was that what therapy really comprises of, what it really means to a lot of doctors when they're dealing with gender confused young patients, it doesn't mean like actually diving into the issues that these kids have. It means just saying yes, yes, yes to everything. Yes, we are going to call you by the opposite sex. We're going to call you whatever you want, by your preferred name, by your preferred pronouns, and we are going to have your mom and dad do the very same. We are going to have them say yes as well, no matter what they may think right now. And my mom and dad were getting frustrated because I was going to therapy, but I was not getting better emotionally at all. I also expressed to them that I felt like nothing was happening really in these appointments, but they were never really followed up with about what was actually talked about between me and the psychologist. So they decided to talk to the doctors themselves, and ask them about why I was experiencing this confusion, whether it might be a phase or not. And what they were told was that this is life or death for your kid. This is not a phase. This is a fundamental part of who she is. And you are going to accept your daughter as your son right now. Because if you don't say yes, if you don't call her, if you misgender her, if you don't say yes to her receiving treatment as early as possible, that could lead to an early unfortunate death for her. Your child might just take her own life if you don't do so. And that is a lie that doctors leverage over parents who often don't have any other resources, who do not have any outside knowledge or alternative resources. They are told that the life of their child is at stake. And They repeated this lie to my mom and dad several times over and over and over again, especially as the treatment path became more and more invasive. They really were scared for my life.
This is so awful. All right. We're talking with Chloe Cole. She's a detransition advocate. Coming up after the break, we're going to get into how far down the rabbit hole, the trans rabbit hole, she went, the process by which she climbed herself out of it, and now the current conflict with the folks over at TCU. And it's overlapped with the Turning Point USA chapter as well. So there's just all kinds of the rest of the story. You got to hang out for 4 minutes and catch the other side. This is Chloe Cole on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
Good job.
Back up. They're trying.
You should turn this down a little bit. See how you framed over there?
Yeah, I noticed that, but I didn't want to like adjust it while we were on. While we were on air.
And just a little bit closer to the mic.
Okay. There you go. Oh, we're on the subject. Huh?
When you start talking about TCU, try to plug the event that we're actually still here.
I will. I did that on Isabel Brown too.
And the Sports Foundation, if you can.
Mm.
I mind if I
What's up?
I'm just gonna add something.
Okay.
Recession. That they told you. I love. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Got me more. You might need to people like. Let's just find Dallas. Hey Donna, you're on. Yeah, we're not. Hey there, Walt. Hey there, Walt. Worked up as I do about this. We're a lot more credible. I get so appreciate your time on the James Show. Thank you, Mr. James. Thanks for having me. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So you're from California, right?
Yeah, I'm from the Central Valley.
I'm Dr. Matt Thomas, DC, founder of
When I first started going to TCU, which was some years ago, they said that California actually has the most going to TCU there.
Retired, so this was my first summer not working again. But I had problems with my shoulder. I mean, it was just like 1,000 needles going into my shoulder.
Mike didn't want surgery. 6 months in a sling was not how he planned to spend retirement. That's when he heard about QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
It's a free appointment. And you just go on Isabel the next day. I went out played golf.
Are you watching it?
No. It'll come out tomorrow, but I'm just saying.
I did pretty good. Yeah.
Smack
it.
Smack it. I don't want to
Fine.
Now Mike's heading back to QC Kinetics to get his knees treated.
Oh, I know, Lance's the same as
I can remember it's time to
chancellor.
No.
Call QC Kinetics today to schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 972-972-8610. That's 972-972-8610.
I hope it syncs my tabs from Safari.
972-8610. What was that called?
I hope it syncs my tabs from Safari. It should. I don't see anything yet, but we're.
Yeah, you gotta give it, it's got next to the Wi-Fi and then it'll all come in.
Yeah.
Like, I bet some of your messages.
Oh yeah, they're all missing.
They're all missing, yeah, it takes a little bit of time.
As a friend of the case, I'm gonna have to call him and say, Debo, man, seriously, why? You guys just why?
Is it cold, allergies, or could it be a sinus issue? Aspire Allergy and Sinus can help you find out.
We would appreciate all the help we can get.
45% of patients
I think I was the first I did a thousand points, and I thought, he's so nice. He's like, he's about to something happens. No, not you, bro.
And find a solution that actually works at Aspire Allergy and Sinus. Go to aspireallergy.com.
Don't get me wrong, he's an awesome guy. He's really nice and sweet.
Aspireallergy.com.
Yeah. He's the call to Stephen Wilson.
In Fort Worth, northbound I-35W in the Texpress lanes right around Long Avenue, there's a stalled vehicle in the right lane. It's about a 5-minute backup to Northside Drive. Also a stall on westbound I-20 to Highway 287 in Arlington. The right lane is blocked. We're looking at a 15-minute backup to Park Springs Boulevard. South Dallas eastbound I-20 between Highway 310 and just before Galley 30. There's road construction with 2 left lanes. About a 15 to 20 minutes delay from Galley to WCAT First Traffic. I'm Dave Allen.
Sponsored by Blindster.com.
Looking for affordable blinds, shades, or shutters for your home? Don't hire an expensive pro. Check out Blindster.com, where we offer custom-made window and guaranteed low prices with a team of pros ready to help you every step of the way. Blindster.com.
In the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, whenever news happens, you have right here. News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, welcome back. This is the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. We're continuing with our guest, Chloe Cole. She's a detransition advocate who is telling her story around the country at college campuses. We'll get into TCU in just a little bit because I have some TCU alum that are listening right now, and they are fuming about the situation. But let's finish telling your story here. So you felt odd going through the first stages of puberty. Your exposure online convinced you that you might need to go down this trans rabbit hole. The therapy that you sought out reinforced that delusion, or that's an opinion, but and then your parents, your parents were scared into going along with it. And so when did the hormones start?
The whole medical process started pretty quickly, actually, like within the first, I would say roughly half a year of me ever seeing a therapist at all. So very, very expedited.
And how old were you?
I was 13. It was, I started the puberty blockers, which is like a chemical castration agent they use to stop the puberty of perfectly healthy children now. It was about halfway through my 8th grade year, and then a few months after that, I was put on weekly injections of testosterone. And at 15 years old, I underwent surgery. I had a radical double mastectomy to remove my breasts, and that ended up being a major turning point when I realized just how much damage this was causing to me. And I started reflecting a little bit on what it really means to be an adult, and the fact that I was not too far from 18 years of age, and I would have to start thinking not just about what kind of college do I want to go to, what kind of career would I want to have, but what is it that I want in my personal life? And I realized I want to have kids one day. I want to get married. I really want to fulfill a very feminine role. And I might not ever be able to do any of those things if I continue going down this path. So I made the decision at 16 years old to stop transitioning. And I came across a community of people who were in very similar situations to me, who also had detransitioned. And over the years, I've met hundreds of others in person, online, and our stories just go to show just how harmful this really is. The fact that this is not for children, really. I frankly don't believe that this is any way to live for anybody, and for any doctor to do this to anyone is deeply, deeply abusive.
Was there an event that made you sort of hit rock bottom and decide to come out of it? Or was it a gradual process? How did you turn this around when so many other people don't?
It was a very gradual process, and I really did hit rock bottom. I thought I wasn't even going to make it to 18 years old. I thought I genuinely wanted to end my own life because of the effects of all of the procedures. But thank God I've made it to 21, I had my birthday just a few months ago, and I've realized that in spite of everything I've lost, God still has a plan for me, and I still have so much to live for. And that's the message that I want to give to anybody who is going through this kind of confusion, no matter what stage they're at. It's never too late to go back and find new hope and find your identity in things that won't eventually bring you to an early death. And really, to anybody who is going through, who is experiencing any form of loss or any form of grief.
Chloe, your story breaks my heart. I have 2 daughters. One's 10, one's 13. And so they're kind of in that age where you got wrapped up in this. And that scares the hell out of me as a dad. But they're so beautiful. I just can't imagine anyone carving them up for, I don't know, what is this, a political thing? Is this an ideological thing? I mean, is this their own sort of religion? Like,
I would argue it's all three. Yes, it's a powerful political tool. It's completely based in ideology. There is no sound science behind any of this. But most of all, I think that it's an ongoing part of the spiritual battle that our country is going through, and it essentially is a religion of its own.
how did your parents get talked into allowing this?
They were told that it was going to be life or death for me, that the suicide rates in the transgender community are extremely high, particularly in children who don't get intervention as early as possible because they say, well, your body has to align with your internal sense of your gender and who you are, and that is what causes gender dysphoria. That it's like essentially like a physiological thing and like a condition that is like inborn and incurable.
Well, it sounds like you don't have much blame for them. You don't
No.
think that maybe they should have done more research and found out that these doctors were lying to them,
At the
or
time, there really was no additional information outside of the medical field.
there wasn't a Chloe Cole?
People who were critical of transgenderism, especially in regards to children at the time, were very niche groups because so few people knew about the abuse that was actually happening. But my mom and dad, I don't blame them at all. I give them a lot of grace, especially for the way that they were emotionally manipulated by our doctors who knew better, who took an oath to do no harm and gave me a treatment that did exactly that and tore apart my family in the process.
We're talking with Chloe Cole. She's a detransition advocate. And so now you're using your experience to kind of fill in that gap that your parents didn't have, that you didn't have when you were going through this. And you go around doing public speaking, a lot of which is at college campuses. You're going to be in town on what, Tuesday? Now, you were going to speak at a TP USA event at TCU, but that didn't work out. Are we ready to tell that part of the story yet?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So what's the TCU back and forth? Because they've released a statement today about your situation, but I want you to get your side out first.
Right. So in their statement, they said, well, we never had an event planned with them in the first place. We didn't cancel anything. And maybe technically that's true. But the thing about these colleges, having spoken at dozens of them over the years, that's the exact kind of tactic they use to bar speakers like me. They use all these technicality, they use all these rules to make it so that it's nearly impossible for Christians, for conservatives to hold events on campus. And that's exactly what they did here. They let us on for a few weeks, and we gave them several weeks' notice. They absolutely could have pulled an event together.
Oh, I don't know about the leading on part. Fill me in on that.
So they gave us the impression that we could have an event with the necessary resources and that we needed. At first we were expecting about 600 people in attendance, and now that there's so much attention being brought to this situation, it's a lot more. And they had multiple rooms that were available, that were open, that had that capacity or much more than that. And then eventually they said, well, you can't bring people from outside the school to this event. You can only have like a select number here. And then you can have this room that only has about 200, which is less than half than what we're expecting. And they just kept giving us these ridiculous rules that made it so that, well, we decided to move the event off campus. And actually, there's a local Baptist church, Birchman Baptist Church, that has been very graceful in giving us their space and their church to host the event. And so we're still doing the event, and it's going to be on October 7th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, we'll get a little more into that and what happens at the events. We'll continue with Chloe Cole. She's a detransition advocate. Find out when and where the specifics on where you can see her on Tuesday. And if you can't get it out, I understand you have a busy schedule. You can't go see her. You at least have to look this stuff up online because you'll hear some of the rest of the story. But this goes so deep, and it's amazing what you're doing here. We'll continue with Chloe Cole on the James Show next. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
Right on time, too.
Your story is so sad.
Is that the laptop? Can you hear me? Oh, I gotta hold it down. All right. I mean, there's definitely a lot of sad parts to my story, but
Doesn't this break your heart that I have to do this once a week or whatever? Once a week.
Well, I don't know how often you speak.
I don't mind it. It's for a good cause, and there's a lot of hope in it too.
Okay. Man, I don't know, 'cause I got daughters, and that's what I think of in this.
The older I get, the more it makes me sad, not about myself, but just reflecting on the fact that there's so many kids out there who this is happening to. And that's exactly why we got to keep fighting, got to keep bringing awareness.
Agreed.
Are you going up to another segment or is that it?
There's another segment. I want curry so bad. I'm hungry. I want curry. Like Thai curry.
She made reservations for us.
Oh, what time? What time?
At 7, but I can take you to my other favorite that I get lunch at, and they have really good stories.
Let's do it. What kind of food do you like?
Ooh, man. Love anything fried.
Anything fried?
Yeah, anything fried.
That's very southern. Very Texan.
I also like Asian food.
Asian food or Cajun? Cajun. Both are pretty good.
What you?
I grew up with a lot of Asian food. I'm in a very Asian area, so that's a lot of my taste. And then like meats, like red meats especially, like beef, elk. I had a bison burger once. That was pretty good. Bone, like I like stuff with like bone broth or like bone marrow in it. I'm a meat master. Gotta get the protein.
If you are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, Nick Namath, today. I have helped many businesses and individuals in DFW resolve payroll.
I've seen some people who are vegetarians and vegans. Very strict with those guys, but as a habit by cigarette, I could not be a vegetarian or vegan. I have to have meat.
I could never do that. I'm sorry. Like I like vegetables. Like I would never want to be on a diet that like selects for certain food groups and excludes others. But like meat, like, that's where it's at.
Right.
That's where we get a lot of our nutrients, anyways.
Yeah, I saw some girls in college. They were always kind of cranky and stuff like that. I'm like, well, no wonder, because they were, I mean, like 16, and they were really like into the details of which I was anorexia in college myself.
I struggled with some disorder eating when I was younger.
Yeah. Sure. And that feeling of just being like hungry all the time because you're not nourished.
Yeah.
It's that's bad. When I got diagnosed, I was like, okay, I need to start, putting some meat on the bones and starting to get better into, looking better.
We look good now.
Yeah, I was pretty overweight in high school, and that's what motivated me to start losing weight. But I overdid it.
You took it too far. Yeah.
So
That happens. That happens a lot.
That's what she's doing right now.
He's kind of like starve maxing. Well, it's more like
he has loose skin, and he thinks he's gonna get like the loose skin, like it's just gonna disappear if he diets enough. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Highest I ever was 225, and the lowest I got was 144. Whoa. Yeah.
Wow.
144 would happen when I was in Ireland.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
6'2". Wow, that's pretty low.
Yeah.
Did you get sick?
I did have. I will say this: if it wasn't for my roommate when I was in college, I probably would not be alive. I had a seizure.
That's tough, man.
And it wasn't until
after college, I didn't know my license until after college, and I had several. And fortunately, I'm on this medicine, medication, which controls that. It allows me to, you know, keep blood sugar up, and it allows me to, you know, not have seizures. I'm taking the train today, so once I get off the train, I'll take my blood sugar. I take my blood sugar everywhere. Good people to drive, because anything below 90 is not good.
Yeah. Is that like a something that you just developed, or is it like a consequence of the eating?
We think it may have been developed because it really started kicking into overdrive once I started losing lots of weight. But I may have had it all along. I'm not really sure. But it definitely wasn't present there when I was in high school because I was just eating constantly. And blood sugar was always high. But once I stopped doing that consistency, essentially starting myself, that's when I started noticing the mood swings.
This is pretty familiar. Talk to me. Health issues.
Yeah.
Because my mom, I grew up with a nurse for a mother, and then like I'm surrounded by like in the detransitioner community, so many of us have been like home medicated. So it's like this is just. I feel like I'm at home talking about this.
I'm glad that you guys are bringing awareness to these kinds of things because, like in the case of transgenderism, I often see that celebrated.
Yeah.
And it's like it's abuse.
It's very similar. It reminds me a lot of like the communities online about eating disorders, but it's like so much more proliferative.
Yeah, there's people that will say it's healthy to trade anorexia, to trade bulimia for anorexia, when neither one is good.
No. There's people who will like go back and forth between the communities too.
Yeah.
Of eating disorders and transgenderism. Like I know a lot of detransitioners who are like starving themselves right now, or they're coping by like binge eating.
Again, it's not they have these educations for themselves that are unrealistic. I don't think they love consumption of it.
Right.
I know they don't feel special. They feel they have to do that. That's not good.
It's just like a total break in their identity, but they're not going to find it by like looking on the outside of themselves. They have to find it on the inside.
On the inside, exactly.
They have to find their value in something else.
And unfortunately, I see a lot of them do this in college. I've seen some friends that were, when they went to college, they were pretty chill. They weren't, didn't think too many crazy things. Once they got to college, I'm not sure what it is, but they let bad influences get to them, and they started becoming very shallow with how they viewed the world and viewed themselves. And it's not what college is about. Like, of course, the Wizard of Oz, back where I come from, we have places called universities. I mean, go to become great thinkers, and when they come out, they think deep thoughts.
Right.
I don't see people thinking deep thoughts.
Yeah. So many people just end up becoming superficial, like even if they came from good homes, and I think it's because like a lot of like parents like don't really know like the environment that's on colleges now, so they can't really properly equip them to say like, hey, it's like a real danger that's going that you could be exposed to while you're there. So you have to guard yourself against these influences.
Oh yeah, one of my best friends was when we started college. We never really were political at this point, but she was what we would call conservative. She was all the guys. We went to Procter together, and she was talking about how all the guys were good looking. She was borderline, if you could call it, homophobic. Like, she did not like the gay stuff at all. But then she went to college, became a lesbian, and became full-blown liberal. Which is like, it's
kind of a classic story.
Yeah,
I feel like everybody knows a story like that.
Well, that because she's not happy. She's not happy at all.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Seen the same thing happen with friends of mine.
Go to rapidradios.com. You'll get an extra 60% off. Free UPS shipping and add code radio for an extra 5%
I'm doing like ASMR tonight.
And now's your chance to win $5,000 a day. WBAP. Your chance at $1,000 right now. Just text the word coin to 95819. That's coin, COIN, to 95819. You can score $1,000. Sponsored locally by Mullen and Mullen Injury Law Firm. Good luck.
Like, just the fact that it exists is like crazy. I need for my social media. Yeah.
Oh, is this Fall Out Boy?
Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. We're continuing with my guest, Chloe Cole. She's a detransition advocate. And can you name another detransition advocate? Not you, Chloe. I'm talking to the people listening right now. And I've been looking for someone like you. The trans issue is super close to me. In my radio career, I co-hosted a show with the guy who was trans. He would just dress up at nights and on the weekends, and he lived as a man during the day. And it was a sex thing. We'll just leave it at that.
So
but there was no
suspect.
Kinda. He thought about getting the top surgery. He thought about getting implants, but he would never do the bottom because you lose function. And let's just leave it at that.
Choice not to.
No kidding. Man. He's no longer with us, by the way. That's a different story. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, it's terrible, actually. I don't want to bog down the show with it, though. But I think you're super important because you turn on the TV today, and there's so many people on the other side of your story. We now have trans characters all over TV. We have it in Good Girls. We have it in Umbrella Academy, in Star Trek Discovery, in the OA, in Shameless, Orange is the New Black, Money Heist.
Star Trek too? That's crazy.
Well, it's one of the 18 Star Treks. Was Star Trek Discovery. I haven't watched one episode of it. It was in Inventing Anna, 911 Lone Star, Faking It, The Good Doctor. I can keep going here. But for all the representation that community gets, can you name one detransition character in any TV show in all of TV history?
Not one that exists. Not yet.
Not
I'd
yet.
like to change that.
What a great answer here. So, man, I was just telling you on the break, like, how do you do this? Isn't it horrible to have to go to these speaking events all across the country and relive this horrible experience?
Sometimes some days it's definitely harder than others, but for the most part, well, I end up having a lot of fun along the way. I've met a lot of people who I've had a lot of good times with, people who I am proud to stand by. And I mean, I'm on a mission. This is my calling, and I'm grateful that I have even the chance to fulfill it. And I've seen just the fruits of this movement that I'm blessed to be a part of come out so much over the years we've had 26 states passing protections for children against medical transgenderism, and even our sitting president right now has put forth executive orders, and the federal government has been super involved in tackling this issue. And if it weren't for the normal, just everyday people coming out to tell their stories and talk about the things that they have seen in these clinics, then we wouldn't have gotten to this point. I think that, yes, there's a lot of tragic things that are happening in the world right now, but we still have so much to smile about.
I guess, man, that must be faith-based, because the optimism it's not based on that story. That's a terrible story. So you were just talking about how TCU kind of rope-a-doped y'all for a few weeks, pretending to book your event, and then they finally told you about a week or so ago that they're not going to be able to do it.
Well, it's more so that they were giving us provisions that just were not going to work at all for our security needs, for our booking needs, especially with the amount of people who we were expecting to be there, which would include people from outside of the school, people in the local community who would want to attend the event.
TCU put out a statement today saying on September 18th, TCU successfully hosted a TPUSA event to honor the life of Charlie Kirk, who had previously spoken on TCU's campus to students in the community. That's a CYA move. Separate from this event, an outside party not affiliated with TCU invited an external speaker, to appear on our campus October 7th. The student chapter of TPUSA, Turning Point, Charlie Kirk's outfit, then requested that TCU host the October 7 event for 7 to 1,000 people. The requested space was already booked with another student event. We explored options, notified the group September 25th. The secure space was not available given the short notice, but we offered to find another date or space for the event. TCU never canceled this event as it was never booked. So why not just say, all right, well, let's do it a different day. Just give us an event and call their bluff.
Well, I wouldn't really be able to speak to that because I'm not the person who was organizing the event. That would be more so a question for the people working at the chapter, and for the people working as staff at the school. But it really is a date that works best for me because I already have so much on my plate. I already have so many events at the school. I already have so many events for the semester that are lined up.
So I noticed. Did you know it's Pride Month at TCU? Did you see this yet?
This is another Pride Month,
bro. This is getting
Can
passed
we
all
really
around
join?
Twitter. I guess June wasn't enough. Well, look, to be fair, TCU's campus is pretty vacant during June, so you can't just let it slip. I guess 1 month isn't enough. So this is what's being passed around on Twitter under your post here. Pride Month at TCU. They're doing it again in October. Let's go through some of the events that they're hosting. You want to hear some of this, Chloe?
Sure.
All right.
I already know they're hosting one, I think today, right?
Yeah, today at 1 p.m. So it might still be happening right now. They're having Why Do We Celebrate Pride at the Intercultural Center, October 7th, the date of your event. At 2 p.m., you can go to the Intercultural Center for TCU Ally one-on-one. And then the week after that, they have Pride in Your Relationships Week, and then Pride Picnic, and then the LGBT TEA with Trans Trailblazers on October 17th. TCU Ally 102 on October 23rd. On October 30th, they have Out and On Mute, a silent disco for the LGBT community at the BLUU Ballroom.
What's the point of a silent disco?
That's actually kind of cool, where you have the wireless headphones and then you're all listening to the same music, but no one can hear
I
it.
see.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
But I can't go because I'm straight. So yeah.
Well, it's really interesting that they're having so many Pride-related events.
Well, I didn't even get through the list. There's one more. On Halloween, they're having the Pride Month Cultural Cuisine at the Intercultural Center at 11:30 a.m. Bro, they're ditching Halloween for this.
I mean, you'd think that's their holiday, right? Because they like to dress up and play pretend.
All right, don't get me in trouble here. So,
am I allowed to say that?
You're allowed to say whatever you want. I have an employment on the line here. So let's talk about the event that's happening on Tuesday. You're still having an event. It's just not going to be on TCU campus, and a local church reached out to host it.
Yeah, it's the Birchman Baptist Church, and they've been awesome to work with. They and the other, there's a group hosting. I just got a new phone, so I can't check all the details on it, unfortunately. I really wanted to give a shout out to of course, not just the church and to the Turning Point chapter, but there also is another group, I think called the Forge Room, actually. And they all have just been working together tirelessly to put all this together and make everything work in spite of the circumstances.
All right. So if you have just one message that you want to get out to kids who are going through this or thinking about going through this, or parents who have kids who are kind of questioning their situation at this phase of their life, what would you tell them?
If you're a young person who is experiencing these feelings of confusion, of incongruence with your body and with your identity, especially in regards to your sex, of either being male or female, I completely understand how difficult it is. It was something that I have grappled with for years, but you don't have to give in to the lies. You don't have to give in to the confusion that you're experiencing. There is hope for you. There are ways to find your identity and to find happiness with yourself that don't involve living and going down the path of experimental, lifelong meditation. It's ultimately going to do you better to really introspect, to look at where exactly these feelings are really coming from. Because the issue is not your perfectly healthy, developing body. It is internal. It's psychological, and I would argue, as a Christian, oftentimes spiritual. And it's going to be, while it might be a lot more difficult in the moment, you have to go the long way. You have to play the long game in order to truly become happy with yourself. And it does not come from your identity does not come from what you call yourself or what clothes you wear. It comes from the things that you do for your community, for your family, for the people around you, and to make the world a better place.
All right. Do you have a question for Chloe Cole? 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Really, I think we did a good job covering all the bases. But in case we forgot something and you have a question, you have one segment to ask her, 800-288-9227. And when we get back, we'll talk about some of the work she's already done on The James Show. Chloe Cole, detransition advocate, when we continue. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
James, it's like for me to move Dallas if I go back to.
Yeah, I just texted him, but it wouldn't hurt if you reached out and double checked it or whatever.
I made a joke about Halloween being the perfect holiday for transgender people.
That's good.
Apparently at TCU they're having like a pride event on Halloween, but it's about like cultural cuisines and not like spooky stuff. And I was like,
They give out tricks and treats too. Yeah, tricks and treats. Sometimes they get the book mixed up.
it's more like trick or trick, honestly.
So, a commenter on Facebook said you were going to focus on the family documentary?
Yes, I was.
Okay. What else have you done that we can highlight? Because we're just going to have a short segment here.
I got good news on my lawsuit with my doctors. We're going to be going to trial.
Act in Congress right now too.
Yeah,
I've heard of that. What's the doctor lawsuit? I haven't heard anything about that.
it's something that I've been.
Are you allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, I can talk about it for sure. But I'm suing my doctors, and I filed my suit about like 2-3 years ago. But the legal process has just been so slow because they're trying to bury my case under a binding arbitration. But the judges have determined that my case is going to go to trial.
That's the new development.
But I think the Chloe Cole Act is going to be pretty important to cover.
All right, we'll be sure to get that in mention. We'll only have like maybe 4 minutes here, right, Gary?
Yeah. Actually, we're going to get back in about. We have till 54, so we have about 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Chloe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, every time I want to go to these, they're forced me to go to one of these type plays. I would just play Aerosmith. Dude, look like a lady. Oh, dude, I have a lady. I'm like, yeah. Yesterday I was in Armadillo. We heard it all before. Yeah, but going back to I remember Pixar released something from their Disney Plus series about transgender storylines. And I was like, yes, and all the mainstream media was like, you assholes. I'm like, this is awesome. This is why Lightyear sucked. The one reason why Buzz Lightyear spin-off to be sick. Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah.
I actually like that movie other than that.
I wish it was like a little bit more developed than it was, and like you could tell with like the choice of characters in the squad.
Yeah.
That it was like focused on diversity about everything. Like we wanted to see like actual like strong characters. Like kids want to see like actual strong characters that they can like look up to. But it was just like ex-cons.
Yeah, and they were so like the story was so small and inconsequential, and the characters were so underwritten.
And it's like supposedly it's a movie written in like 1993, right? Like that's
it was supposed to be the movie that Andy saw. And he wanted the toy from it.
Like if there was like a gay kiss in a kids movie like three decades ago, that would not fly.
No.
Like the country would be up in flames.
And also it's based off like the Event Horizon, the Sergeant Snickers. They're actually sci-fi movies in the 90s.
Hey there, welcome back to The James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker, continuing for one more segment with our detransition advocate, Chloe Cole, who had a little headbutt with TCU, but the show will go on. Again, this happening Tuesday, October 7th, Birchman Baptist Church in West Fort Worth. Who needs to go to this? What is this event for?
Well, the reason why I chose a university to speak at is because I feel like this really is an issue of our time, especially my generation. We are the ones who are being affected by it the most. And we are also the new generation of adults, so we have to be equipped to really deal with these issues going forward in our culture and in our personal lives. Because, I mean, a lot of us, we're going to affect the culture, not just within our own personal everyday conversations and in our classrooms, but also we are going to be the future doctors, future mothers and fathers, future lawyers, future lawmakers. And in order to really properly activate on this and do what's right going forward. We have to be informed on just what is happening. But I also, at these university events, it's not just for people my age, it's for people within local communities to be able to come by and hear stories like mine, to hear from perspectives like mine, about what is happening in our culture right now.
Well, your story's horrible. I mean, the questioning at 11, the hormones at 13, the double mastectomy at 15, and here you are just being a little ray of hope out there. I mean, just indefeatable here. And you might even have a law named after you. Tell me about Chloe's Law.
Yes, so the Chloe Cole Act was introduced into Congress actually, on the House floor, and it's in, I believe, the Commerce Committee right now, and they're going to hopefully be having hearings on it soon, and it should be pretty straightforward process going into the Senate. But it seems though currently our federal government has some more pressing matters to attend to, what with the shutdown happening. Yeah. But they plan to get going on this pretty quickly, and I'm really excited about it because what this bill does is it's going to ban these treatments for children under the age of 13, or under the age of 18, across the country, and it's going to make it so that there is recourse for those of us who have been harmed. Because currently in a lot of states, the statute of limitations on lawsuits and on legal action for children who have, or for young people who have been hurt as children in the gender clinic system, it makes it nearly impossible for any of us to achieve justice. And the reason why we need this, why we need a law like this on the federal level, is because, yes, we've had about half the United States passing laws to protect children, but unfortunately not all of them are comprehensive. And we still have the other half of the United States that is going full force in the opposite direction, facilitating more children, more families going down this path and being torn apart and being harmed.
So the doctors who did this to you, the therapists, the monsters who just carved up a beautiful young girl, are they still out doing this to other kids today?
Yes. I believe my doctors are still working with transgender patients and perpetuating this harm. But I have decided that I decided to enter legal action with them. I filed a lawsuit after my 18th birthday, and for years the case was just not really moving very quickly because, well, the legal system is already a very painstakingly slow process. But of course, Kaiser Permanente, my healthcare provider, was trying to bury my case under a binding arbitration to make it so that the truth around what happened to me and what has happened to thousands of other children under the care would never come to light. But a recent development has happened, and it's been determined that we are very likely going to go to courts. So I'm very excited. I'm very nervous going forward, but I'm very hopeful in what is to come of this.
All right, real quick, Greg on Facebook said you shared some of your faith-based battles in a documentary from Focus on the Family called Truth Rising. I've never even heard of that, and I am a fan of Focus on the Family. Tell me about some of the other work that you've done already.
Yes, so I've been speaking out since I was 17 years old, and I primarily started out by speaking on legislation and helping to pass the laws across the country that are protecting children from transgender treatments. But I also speak at medical conferences. I work with groups like Do No Harm Medicine on these laws, and at medical with the medical system on this. And I also do a lot of work speaking at universities and with youth-oriented groups such as Turning Point USA and Young America's Foundation.
All right, Chloe, you speak well. Maybe you should go into radio after all this.
Well,
all right,
I should go into radio. Somebody earlier told me that I should probably run for something. So I don't know. I've got a few options to consider.
Right on. All right, we'll find her online, Chloe Cole. She's great on Twitter. She's got a bunch of good videos on YouTube. You can go see her Tuesday, October 7th at the Birchman Baptist Church in Fort Worth. Thank you so much for your time and your work. You're Pretty inspirational, Chloe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
All right. Wow. How do we follow that? Well, we're going to follow it with a good old-fashioned story of corruption at City Hall, and we're going to expose the clowns in downtown Dallas next on The James Show with Dallas and Fuego on News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.
Great job. That was awesome. That was great. Thank y'all for allowing me to come on. Yeah, thanks for having
Wait,
us.
were you managing my?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
I keep forgetting whether I remember to turn it on or not.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Appreciate it. I'm still really happy with my nails. It's like the coolest that I've ever had. I was in the LA area a few days ago actually, and I got a new set of nails. They look like a fusion. Nice. I'm really happy about them. Man, how did I ever think I was a dude? Look at this. What is this? If my 15-year-old self saw the me of today, I think she would have a heart attack for sure.
Ready?
All right.
Let's go.
Good seeing you.
Well, it's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, Chloe, that was good. My Sanity night, that was really good.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Good luck on Tuesday.
Yep, we're gonna have a lot of fun Tuesday, I think.
Rocket.
All right, I'm gonna put it on YouTube. I'm gonna cut out the commercials and stuff, so it'll just be one. Cool. It'll be about 30 minutes.
All right.
All right, thanks for coming out. I would hug you, but I'm kind of sweaty. Mitchell, thank you.
I think we're all sweaty here. It's just Texas weather, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right.
All right, thank you so much.
Y'all have a good one. Y'all know how to get out of here? You want me to walk you out?
If you have a product or service that will get a talk to us about it. 817-360-4530. You're a homeowner about to get your house. Yeah. The last time you did that Rhino Shield, you wouldn't be in this situation. It's part of your RhinoShieldPFW.com. Rhino Shield is this ticket flaking cracking that reflects UV rays, saves money on your utility bills with additional insulation, and 25-year transferable warranty. 5-star rating on Google. Your house, your home. Rhino Shield PFW.com.
This has been a really good show today.
Chloe was really good, yeah.
It sure was.
Isn't that heartbreaking stuff?
It is, dude. And I was telling her, we were talking, a lot of people, they saw
Well, hey there, fellow Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. And this is going to be a good old-fashioned corruption down at City Hall type segment. But it's going to be a little more entertaining than the typical corruption down at City Hall segment. Because the guy that brings you the story, he's just a funny dude. He's like me. He just likes to make fun of all these clowns. I saw this on Twitter from local government watchdog Dallas Infuego.
Well, color me shocked. The morally and ethically bankrupt Dallas council members whom I filed ethics complaints against don't want my highly qualified lawyer wife sitting on the city's ethics commission. At the council briefing today, Bathhouse Chad West and Fry Cook Adam Bazaldua raised concerns about Councilmember Bill Roth's appointment of my wife.
I can cite at least a dozen examples of why I'm concerned about this appointment.
Not based on her qualifications as a lawyer or law professor, but because they don't like me.
Mr. Levesque will stoop to any means necessary in achieving his goals.
I guess Bathhouse Chad is still butthurt about the time that I exposed him for spending his campaign funds at a Washington, D.C. men's bathhouse and then labeling the expense as supplies on his campaign report. Or it could be because the fry cook is still feeling burnt because I exposed him and his workplace BFF, Paul Blackman, for taking campaign donations from a digital kiosk executive and then not recusing themselves from the vote to hire his company to litter our sidewalks with dystopian screens. Or maybe it's because I blew the whistle on Paula Blackman shamelessly admitting that she used a city lobbyist to help out with her own property in West Texas.
I asked her to help me, with those senators having property out there.
But regardless of their reasons, retribution against somebody or their spouse for filing an ethics complaint is in itself an ethics violation. The Inspector General's office is about to have a lot of work on their desk.
All right, he just crammed a whole lot into a minute and 20 seconds. So let's meet him and get him to explain a little further. Say hi to Dallas Infuego, local watchdog. Tell us of this video. There was a lot packed in there. Can you sort of expound on the genius we just heard, Dallas? All right, so let's talk about what is the ethics commission and what's the problem with it now? How? Well, it helps me pay attention to it too. I have a terrible attention span, and I'm terminally on my phone. So it worked on me, Dallas. So what's wrong with the ethics commission now? Why does it have vacancies? You're so proud of that. You're like, damn right, I'm a problem. But that shouldn't. But that's not enough to preclude her from being on the ethics commission, right? So why do you call him Bathhouse Chad? Yeah, I knew that. I just wanted you to say it again. But that's funny in the video because you slip in that, Bathhouse Chad is butt hurt. And I'm just. So what do you think is going to happen with this? Are we going to be able to shoehorn her in there, or can she be legitimately blocked? Why you call him the fry cook? What? This is the first time I've heard that story. Okay. And then the other thing that you kind of slipped in there, what's with all the screens? Because we have some of do you call them dystopian screens that are in the neighborhood around Victory Park? For those of you who don't know, the WBAP, our studios are right next to the American Airlines Center in that little plaza when you walk up. And we do have screens that are all over this neighborhood that seem to be tied into the same system. Is that what you're talking about? All right. How do we find you online? Because that's good stuff. Well, I'm big fan of your work. You obviously educated me on some very important issues in an entertaining manner. You're always appreciated on the James Show. This is Dallas and Fuego, y'all. All right, now coming up tomorrow, Friday, I'm going to be at the State Fair. The James Show is going to be broadcasting live in front of the Embarcadero building. It's right next to the Cotton Bowl. And come on out, say hi, judge me based on my appearance, and we'll be doing the show live from 2 to 5. So you can come be a part of the show tomorrow at the State Fair. Coming up next, Time Magazine named their Kid of the Year, and it's a local girl from Frisco. You'll hear her amazing story next on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. If ever you've needed to listen to a James Show podcast, it's going to be today's show. It's been absolute fire. This is actually a good show. I would even listen to this show. It's News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. I'm your host, James Parker. The new home for Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins, informative, Gutfeld-like, funny guys, and they got the whole crew back together after a medical leave, so check them out, 11 to 2 on WBAP before the James Show. Here's a story that'll make your heart swell a little bit. Time Magazine did their Kid of the Year, and apparently they take this more serious than their Man of the Year. Their Man of the Year's so political and jokey, but Kid of the Year, it's actually a really good story. And the super cool part about it, it's a local girl who at the age of 16 just took on a cause, championed it, was successful with it. And here she is, only 17. And it's been so well and so successful that she's being recognized by Time Magazine. Her name is, Tejasvi Minaj. I hope I get it right because she totally deserves all the respect in the world. Listen to this story. I got this off of time.com about a teenager up in Frisco.
Last year, I was driving home with my dad, and we noticed like 4 to 5 missed calls from my dad's phone from my grandfather. So we were like, oh my God, what happened? He got a message from someone claiming to be a family member asking for $2,000. He was about to send the money. You know, he was ready to send it. He was about to click send. When he narrated this incident back to me and my dad, I became a bit concerned. I was pretty shocked that he couldn't recognize that this was a scam. I found out that this was a much bigger problem than I could have anticipated. According to the Federal Trade Commission, the cost of just reported crimes is $3.4 billion. That's just reported crimes. So after seeing these statistics, I kind of became really concerned for my grandfather and just for so many older adults. The goal for Shield Seniors is to make sure that older adults are independent. We want to make sure that they're able to navigate the internet with confidence, with independence, with dignity. I think a lot of people are just embarrassed in general that, oh, I got scammed in this way, but it's not something to be embarrassed about. It's like a learning experience. I really love the fact that you could solve problems through just your computer. But this isn't just data. These are real people. Older adults in New Jersey losing $2 million to a digital scam. The biggest self-fulfillment you can give yourself is, helping others and assisting others. It's not just for them, it's also for my happiness, but I also just love helping people and knowing that, I've made a difference.
Wow. That's incredible. Tejasvi Minaj. I hope that's not the last we've heard of her. She's destined for good things. And I find that so compelling. And you probably do too, know people who have been scammed. Maybe it's your mom or your grandfather or your neighbor or the lady who used to watch your kids. Or, we all have a scam story at this point. And it's so sad to see this, the technology that you and I adapt to kind of clumsily can be used for harm for people who are even further behind when it comes to the technological divide. And then all it took was a 16-year-old girl doing the just classic free market capitalism thing. You find a problem, you create a solution, and then success. That's all it is. Wow. Kind of inspiring stuff because you could have done that. Hell, I could have done that. She actually did it. And she was only 16 when she did. Younger people, don't let age hold you back. You people in the back seat, you can do things that the people in the front seat can't do. You just don't know it yet. I don't know. I love that story. All right, let's have some fun here, though, because I think I'm the only person in Team Red Media that is not upset about Bad Bunny being the halftime show at the Super Bowl. And I get why people are upset. I get why people are complaining. It's because you don't know Bad Bunny. And you feel like, look, it's the Super Bowl. You could pick the most popular people on the planet, and you're going to pick someone we don't know? You're going to pick someone who's not even speaking English? I mean, I guess technically he's an American because he's Puerto Rican. But I know some of his songs. And a bunch of younger people, while they don't listen to a whole lot of Bad Bunny specific music, he's a guy that does collaborations where he does a song with Cardi B, or he did a song with Drake, or he did a song with these other people. but he's more than just a rapper. He started out a long time ago as a rapper, and he's now turned into a singer. And then he's done a lot of, I guess we would call it country music in English, but the Tejano music, like Grupo Frontera. No, you don't. You know the guys, the Mexicans that are wearing the cowboy hats and singing. It's country music. It's just country music in Spanish. He's done a lot of that now too. On top of that, he hosted Saturday Night Live 2 seasons ago. He's hosting the premiere for Saturday Night Live this weekend. And he was just in Happy Gilmore 2 as Happy Gilmore's caddy. So this is a guy who is all over the place. He's in music. He's all over social media. He's now in movies. He's on TV. And so he's a cultural phenomenon. And, I understand why people are complaining, because you feel like you've had all this non-American stuff jammed down your throat, and you feel like, look, we're the only people on planet Earth that play football, or what we call this kind of football, this sport. No one else plays it. So shouldn't the music at least be America-centric? I get it. I'm a fan. So look, let me show you what I'm talking about here. Here's a little Bad Bunny. I don't know if you know about this. Actually, this is the song he did with Drake. This is Drake singing in Spanish, because Bad Bunny's so damn popular. There's Bad Bunny. I gotta tell you, man, if you're a poet in Spanish, that seems like it's real easy. All your words end in O or A. Don't they, like, half of them rhyme? Like, if you end a line in one word, don't you have like half of your vocabulary that's possibly going to rhyme with it? So yeah, there he is with Drake. Then there's the most famous one's probably this Cardi B song. She did I Like It Like That. And this is the clean version. Don't freak out.
Jugando contigo como si fuese el día. Siento que ya no estoy en tu corazón, ahora estoy en tus pies, rogándote en el tequila, ahogándome.
Look, here's another secret that may make you like me a lot less. I love the sound of an accordion. I hear people gripe about an accordion. I don't hear it. I love an accordion, and I've been listening to a lot of Hispanic music. When I was growing up, I played a lot of soccer. A chunk of my family is Hispanic. Half of Miss Parker's family is Hispanic. And then I worked at a moving company, so I had manual labor jobs. Then I worked at a bunch of restaurants, so they were always in the back of the house. Then I worked construction for my brother-in-law, so they'd be at the work sites. And look, I guarantee you don't like Tejano music and you don't like Spanish music, but if you had to listen to it for 8 hours a day for about a month, you'd start bobbing your head and tapping your foot. And, I recognize this song. You'd start listening to it. And you know what else would be weird? One day, you're not going to be hanging out with the Hispanics on the work site, having the audio pumped down your ear against your will. You're going to flip through on the radio, and you're going to hit one of those stations, and you're going to stop. And you're going to be like, why did I do that? Oh, because you recognize the song. And then you're going to slap yourself in the head, and you'll be like, oh, crap, I like this music now. And then one day, you're going to say really wild things like, we need to have more tuba. Why don't we have any tuba in American music? Why do we abandon the trombone? I miss the tuba. I miss the accordion. Can we do that? I don't know, maybe next time Big and Rich comes out with an album or something, or maybe Cardi B can throw a tuba in one of her songs. That'd be pretty cool. So yeah, I'm the only guy that's happy about seeing Bad Bunny at the halftime of the Super Bowl. All right, I guess I'm a weirdo. That's fine. Reason number 268 why I'm a weirdo. Coming up next on The James Show, we're going to make fun of people going crazy on viral videos. News Talk 820, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. You know, your feedback is so appreciated on The James Show. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. And look, I've been doing this for 23 years. I have a pretty good bead on what people respond to and what kind of response I'm going to get from what story or what soundbite or what guest. And sometimes I'm surprised by it. Yesterday, I was surprised by it. Now, I enjoyed pulling the audio clip because the woman in the video, she is just ugly crying, but I don't even know if it's really a cry because technically you don't see any tears. So maybe she was exaggerating or just she's a sociopath putting on a show. I don't know, but I got so much funny feedback from this and people just, they loved it. And the unexpected part about this is like, you could hear this and you could feel sorry for the woman. You could be angry at this woman, but the way people were reacting to it is they were laughing. I think I want to hear that again. Like you could just listen to this as like white noise in the background when you're going to sleep. It's so pleasant.
And I have to go to work. My life is falling apart and I have to get up and go to work. The world is falling apart, but I have to go to work. Right? I'm a black woman in America scared for my life, but I have to get up and go to work. What the What the What? But I gotta go to work. Everything's falling apart. But hey guys, we have to go to work today and pretend like none of this is happening. But hey, make the best of it, right? We're going to make it a good day, right? Have a good day.
This is what happens after 2 decades, 3 decades almost of participation trophies. You understand that? Do you get the connection there? Or do I need to spell it out? But Garrett gets it. What do you mean you have to go to work? You have to go to work? How about you get to go to work? At what time in the human experience was that not the norm? Did you expect in adulthood to not go to work? Did you expect for things to just be handed to you for showing up? Oh, now you get it. See, this is one of the anti-capitalist lies, is when you see someone that's more successful than you, the anti-capitalist doesn't tell you, well, maybe they worked harder or they worked smarter or they have a skill that's more in demand, or maybe they're just better than you. Maybe they're just more successful than you. No, it's always, you didn't build that. You didn't earn that. It's probably just a trust fund, baby. It's probably just your privilege. It's probably just because you're white. It's probably just because you're straight. It's probably just because you're male. It's probably just because you're Christian. It's probably just because you're shut up. Things aren't just handed to you in this world. Yes, there is such thing as trust fund babies. There is such thing as rich kids. But that is the exception, not the rule. And your world is falling apart. Who's told you your world's falling apart? Things are better than ever. We have a longer life expectancy than ever, higher cancer survival rates than ever. We have better food than ever. We have more entertainment options than ever. You know, there's a pernicious myth out there that things have gotten worse. The boomers had it so easy. They could just go out and on one income, they could have a giant 2-story house in a nice neighborhood, and 2 nice cars, and go on vacations and go out to eat all the time. Put their kids through college on a minimum wage. It's a fantasy. Life was not better in previous generations. Well, how did they do it? Well, I'll tell you how they did it. They almost never went to restaurants. You've heard your grandparents tell stories. Do you remember when you were a kid and your grandparents tell a story? How often did they go out to eat? What did they get for Christmas? I remember my dad told me one time he got like a sweater for Christmas. I remember my grandfather told me one time for Christmas he got an orange. Like the fruit, he got an orange. So no, your world's not falling apart. You're just being told that, so you vote for the wrong party. You're just being told that so you don't listen to me. Your world's not falling apart, and going to work's not a bad thing. You're lucky to go to work. You're griping about something that would scare the hell out of me if I wasn't doing it. You ever been unemployed? As a man, that's the scariest thing in the world. I think women handle it a little better because you don't have that sort of sentinel provider instinct. But I almost hate having days off. How often do I go on vacation? How often have you heard me going on vacation on the James Show? Where did I go this summer? Nowhere. Now, part of that is because I'm drowning in debt and I can't afford to spend the money. And we talked about that in the first hour. You know, I have a bunch of medical debt from a sick kid. But your world's not falling apart. MSNBC is making you miserable. Wokeism is making you miserable. Being constantly pumped in your head that half of the country is racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, literally Nazis who want to kill you. That's what's making you miserable. If you listen to WBAP all day, you're not going to be miserable. If you listen to Fox News all day, you're not going to be miserable. Relax. Say a prayer. Go to church. I don't know. Take up smoking cigarettes or something. You need to calm down, lady. But I got so much feedback from that yesterday to where, you know what? And this was kind of the response. People enjoyed the fact that these folks have scared themselves so much. Their lies have been so embraced and inculcated in their being, it's ruining their lives. And there's almost a sense of justice in that. Sure, if you're going to believe terrible, absurd lies about half the country, you deserve to be miserable. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up next, there was a big illegal immigrant ICE sweep at a strip club in Dallas. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. You ever been to Chicas Bonitas? Welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. I haven't. I've seen the ads. Like I see them in the Dallas Observer, and they show up on my social media feed every once in a while. But it's an adult entertainment venue. It's a gentleman's club, or should I say, Caballeros Club or something. I don't know, but it's on Harry Hines, just probably like a few miles up the road from where we're at right now. I don't think they're playing Mucha Muchacha, Chicas Bonitas. But there was an ice raid there. And this Hispanic-themed gentleman's club had 41 people rounded up. Now, that's not really that big of a deal. Look, there's ice raids that are happening all over the place, and I get it. Hey, it's part of the wider deportation efforts. Let's keep that going. I'm all in favor of that. It's kind of a lot, though, for one club. 41? You had 41 illegals in the same club? What the heck's going on there? Now, here's where it gets even, I don't want to say weird. Someone sent me an email last night. Who was that? Yeah, was that John? Yeah, John. He said that the Dallas Morning News hadn't even reported on it yet. What? Are you serious? Dallas Morning News didn't report on an ICE raid that happened in Dallas that picked up 41 people? And so I went and looked, and wrong. They did. It's just not on the front page. You have to use the search engine. Look, I don't know if they do this on purpose. I mean, I have my suspicions that if there's a story that fits the narrative, it's going right up front, top and center. Make sure everyone sees it. And then the other stories that don't fit the narrative, they'll still report on them, but it won't be above the fold, which is the digital term we use for when a page loads, whatever's on the screen without scrolling. That's what we call above the fold, which was borrowed from above the fold, as in when the paper's folded up, you can still see the headlines, like when it's in the machine. So if you go look, they reported on this 2 days ago on September 30th. ICE agents arrest 41 in alleged human trafficking sting at Dallas's Chicas Bonitas Cabaret. If you go to the Dallas Morning News right now, though, what's the number one top story above the fold at the top of the headlines, right under where it says Dallas Morning News? Check this out. These people. Robert Morris, Gateway Church founder, pleads guilty to sex abuse charges. Oh, yeah. Yes, we got to make Christians look bad. That's what's important. He's agreed to serve 6 months in jail, 10-year suspended sentence. He's got to pay some sort of restitution or whatever. Register as a sex offender. But excuse me, do they treat teacher stories like this? We've talked about hundreds of teachers in the last 3 years reported at Texas Scorecard who've abused kids. Did you get regular updates on all their cases? Did you get when they were being investigated? Did you get when they were fired? Did you get another story when the indictments came down? Did you get the any details on the grand jury? Did you get any details on when the court case was, when it started, how it was going, when he was found guilty, when the sentencing's going to be, what happens at the sentencing? Because that's what you get if it makes Christians look bad. But if it makes public schools look bad, you'll get a report, and then it'll never be heard from again. Go look right now. Tell me if there's an update on one of the 300 teacher diddling stories from the last 3 years in Texas. No? That's so weird. They also have there is a story of the guy, the sheriff, who got in trouble for sexual harassment related charges, and he's back on the job. That's kind of weird. But yeah, just thought I'd point that out real quick. Thought that was interesting. Thought you'd like it too. Let's do one more fun viral video here before we get out.
Hey MAGA, Peter Thiel, Trump, JD Vance, Elon Musk. Fear us. We are the masses. You are the 1%. We are the 99%. Think about it.
Man, I love a good delusion. Why do I enjoy that so much? I probably shouldn't enjoy that so much. You should fear us. I'm not going to fear you, dude. You look like you're 5'6", about 170 pounds. You people are scared of guns. You think exercising is a right-wing conspiracy. I've seen Antifa people get in a fight. They always get crushed like Dixie cups. It's hard to see Antifa winning a fight unless it's just like 10 of them on one dude like Andy No in Portland. Nah, I don't think I'm going to be scared of you today. I don't live in fear. I don't think the world's falling apart. Plus, we have guns. So ultimately, what are we scared of? So tomorrow, if you're going to be at the fair already, come out and see the James Show live. I know you're not going to sit through the whole 3 hours, but watch a couple segments, shake my hand, judge me based on my appearance, and then get back to the state fair action. Now, I'm interested to go tomorrow because I have seen the early reports that attendance is down, and attendance has been kind of dwindling over the years. And I think it's really, it's due to two things. Number one is we have so many awesome entertainment options in 2025. I mean, just Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, all the streaming alone should get you out of there. But, we got the phone and everything else we've got going on. But even more so than that, I think the big problem is the price. That's expensive. Parking's $30. And then between getting me and all my 4 kids in and Miss Parker into the state fair, I'm down $150 before I get a corn dog. But I still love it. I'll be there tomorrow. If you're going to be there already, come by, say hi. I'll be in front of the Embarcadero building. Stick around. Coming up next, the great one, Mark Levin. Tonight is going to be the most important podcast I put up in a long time. If you didn't get to listen to the show earlier, we spent a whole hour with the detransition advocate, Chloe Cole. You need to get that. I'm going to go, as soon as the show's over, I'm going to put that up on the podcast. You need to go listen to that. I'm going to put the video up. You need to go find that and share it. It's amazing stuff. Thank you very much for hanging out on The James Show today. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP.